What's up, guys?
So hello guys, hope you liked the small intro which my daughter made for you guys. My name is Redseven and in this video we will review the podcast number 3 which took place yesterday at 9 p.m. CET. The main topics were karma, SMGs, player interaction, scavs, quests and how to make the game more entertaining. And the guys also mentioned some future plans, but they're just that, future plans, and we will not talk about them in this video. Clean was the host of the stream, and his guests were Nikita Buyanov, the COO of VSG, Smoke, and Daisy Rue. Now on the background you see some footage with me playing EFT, and from time to time you will see the new stuff the devs decided to share with us. So let's begin, shall we? Right from the beginning, I must add that I saw Nikita being disappointed, probably with the feedback he gathered from the community, and I saw a lot of negative comments, or maybe he had a very long day at the office. What I want to say to the devs is, guys, just remember the project you had in mind from the beginning and do it like that. Don't listen too much to negative feedback. There will always be negative feedback during the creation of a game. So you just stick to the project you guys had in mind, and I think everything will be fine. What Nikita needs to understand, needs to know, is that there are a lot of expectations. The community is growing bigger, the eyes of the whole world are upon this game. So he has to deliver. There are a lot of expectations, there is a lot of negative feedback, and he should listen to the feedback, but he needs to stay focused on the main project, the main idea he had in mind, and don't change the game according to what everyone says. I mean, this is, as I said, this is not Call of Duty, this is not PUBG. This is a different game where you should be punished for your actions, where you should be rewarded for your actions, and he understood that from the beginning from what I saw during this podcast. From what I saw yesterday, I think Nikita also understood that we want better netcode, less dissing, and better picker's advantage if possible. Therefore, the next patch will be 50-50. Less content than before. I think this previous patch had like probably 80-90% content and less optimization. But this time 50-50, as I said. So here we know that the weapon designer and the game programmer are two different things, two different jobs, and that the designer also needs to do his job. But don't forget, we have some bad examples out there which we don't want to follow, so I guess hiring, for example, another good programmer is not going to be a bad thing, taking into consideration how many problems there are with the network. As I said on a forum many times, I would rather prefer having a game with 5 good weapons and a very good netcode, very good picker's advantage and less dissing, than 200 weapons and a very bad netcode, guys. And I believe most of the community agrees with me on this one. Most of the community, I think all the community agrees with me on this one. The first thing that the guys touched during the podcast was the karma system. Everyone was talking about the karma system being very complex, it will need a lot of testing, and they also mentioned games which fail to deliver a good karma system. And I believe this will happen in this game as well. Not necessarily fail, or maybe fail at the beginning, but it will need a lot of improvement, a lot of tweaking, and a lot of testing. So Smoke suggested here, why not using the karma system first on scavs and then on PMCs? And that makes a lot of sense because with a scav you have a lot less to lose than with a PMC. Talking about the karma system, Nikita also mentioned that players will be somehow forced to cooperate during some raids. Which is hard to imagine, because imagine yourself as a PMC fully geared and there's this guy in front of you. How do you know that he's friendly? How do you know that he will not shoot you in the back? You know, this is hard to imagine, but we'll see how this goes. He also mentioned that karma will have consequences in the game, and not during a raid, but in future raids as well. So if you do bad things, then expect consequences. If you do good stuff, then expect respect, or who knows, we will see what will happen. Oh, and also very interesting, you will probably have to cover your face if you do bad things, or if you have bad karma. Nikita also mentioned claymores. He wanted to explain that we will not see Call of Duty type of claymores in the game, but you will have to prepare them. You will have to just set them up and will probably die because you don't know how to do it at the beginning. So there will be some skills here involved, and you will have to stay close to it and detonate it with the trigger. And don't expect Battlefield claymores with those lasers and you just plant them, you die, and they will still explode. No, don't expect something like that. The other very important topic the guys mentioned yesterday was SMGs and pistols. You know that they are very underrated, no one is using them, or yeah, people are using them right now at the beginning, but give the game 2 more weeks and there will be like 762 AKMs, Vepers and stuff, RSSs, M14s, M4s, and everyone will forget about SMGs. They will probably carry a pistol as a secondary weapon, but using them actively in the game, I think everyone or almost everyone will forget about them. So the guys had some ideas there, and one of them was, why not lowering the price for SMGs and pistols, and therefore make them more viable, more attractive to players. And this is actually a very good idea. But what will you do, or what do you do when your MPX reloading time or magazine loading time, is the same as your VSS loading time or AKM or M4? Then you will probably take the M4 with you, right? So in this place I have a suggestion to make. I was talking about this during one of my streams and on the forum as well. So my idea is, why not reducing the loading times for SMGs and maybe pistols? It's logical. I don't have too much experience with this in real life, but magazines are smaller, bullets are smaller. It should be possible. It should make sense in real life. But you guys let me know in the comments if it's not. But it could be an alternative, because as I said, if my MPX reloading time or magazine loading time is the same as for the M4, I will definitely take the M4. Although it has 20% more recoil and stuff like that, it's deadlier than the MPX, right? So devs, if you watch my footage, take my idea into consideration, reduce the time of magazine loading into the raid, of course, and this, along with the future lower prices, would make SMGs and pistols more viable, more attractive, and people will start using them more. Another idea the guys had during the podcast from yesterday was, in order to make playing as a scav more fun, why not adding the ability to attach parts to the weapon during the raid? So let's just say you spawn with a Vapor, that's that Vapor without dust cover and without butt stock sometimes. Why not adding the possibility to add that dust cover during the raid, probably with some tools that you will have to have on you, or the buttstock, or who knows, maybe a foregrip, some cool lanterns. Lanterns are already possible, but I mean more core parts of the weapon, which is actually great, right? It could be, this is doable, this is possible, and Nikita said that he will think about it. Another problem the game has is repetitiveness. And the guys talked about this and asked the question, why not dynamizing the quests? Sometimes it's all soon after a wipe, it's all very repetitive. I need to gather 30 Tushonkas, kill 15 scavs on customs, and you know all that stuff. Why not scramble the quests? And for example, I will have to start with searching for gas analyzer. You will have to start on shoreline gathering I don't know what and kill some players, scramble the stuff a bit. And this way, players or teammates or Discord teammates, will have to share stuff. We'll have to, what, dude, I'm gonna gather the Tushonkas for you because I did the mission already, but for you is the next one. Some interesting stuff like that. They also talked about why not having a purpose in the game all the time. Once the missions are finished, then the game gets very repetitive. There's nothing else but PvP, going into the raid, getting out with a lot of gear, and do the same again and again and again. So the guys suggested here, why not adding weekly missions, for example? Simple stuff, but players should have something to do in the game. Or missions based on seasons, 3-4 months, a cycle of missions, and then the next one, and so on. And this will get rid of repetitiveness, and the player will have a purpose in the game. Because there's not all about PvP. I mean, PvP is great and it has its place in this awesome game, but there are a lot of explorers out there which really want to enjoy the game while discovering the map, while doing some kills as well, but while also doing some other fun stuff. The other idea the guys had is, why not scrambling the spawns? And I am adding my thoughts here along to what the guys talked during the podcast. Right now with the current status of the game, the 5 first minutes in the game in the raid are crucial. If you manage to survive, then you probably leave the raid with a lot of gear and with some kills. Now, why is that happening? Well, first of all, because spawns are very close to each other. So everyone who learns that pattern will just go for the next spawn, kill him, take his stuff, and if the guy has a lot of loot, then he leaves the raid. If not, he continues along the line. And I believe that this will change with scrambling of spawns and with mixing objectives and or interesting areas. Also, with adding random events on the map if the devs decide to add something like this in the future. Nikita mentioned the satellite telephone yesterday and how you will get messages during the raid, how you will be able to ensure some stuff during the raid, and how to check the location of the random event. Smoke also suggested a temporary, let's call it fix for being stuck in the inventory while loading the mags. Why not a bar or some icons which tell you how much you've gone with the loading, and in this time you will be able to see the environment. This was suggested as a temporary solution till the devs add loading animations. I will talk more about manual magazine loading during a video I plan to do about it. These were the most important topics during the podcast. They also mentioned some other stuff, but it's still in the planning. I will mention it when the time comes. The link is in the description if you want to check the whole podcast. What are your thoughts on manual loading of mags, SMGs, Karma, and the stuff we talked about? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, don't forget about the t-shirts and the hoodies, guys. I posted the links as well. Get yourself the There Is No Leg Meta t-shirt and be the coolest EFT fan at the next Gamescom, for example. Patrons, thank you for the support. Thank you, viewer, for watching and following my content. Sub if you haven't, and stay up to date with all the news, all the videos I upload. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, Redseven out, peace. Hope you guys liked the video. See you in the next one.
Hope you guys liked the video. See you in the next one.
Yeah.